I am simply wondering if anyone out there feels the way that I feel about student loans. I have been paying back student loans forever. When I was younger, I had a couple of forbearances, things like that. But in the last 2 years, I paid off $50,000 of my loans, $50,000 of my $70,000 debt. The original loan was much less than that, but interest continues to accrue. And I paid off $50,000 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, whatever. Brought the balance down to about $20,000. Now a year later, with interest, that $20,000 is already about $10,000 more. It's endless. It never ends. I've already paid back more than I ever borrowed, and yet it's not paid off. I have not benefited from any of Biden's loan forgiveness programs. I have not had my debt removed. I feel like when you do the right thing, you do things the right way, it just doesn't benefit you. And I understand why other people try so hard to beat the system, because when you are doing things legitimately, sometimes you end up feeling abused, hopeless, discouraged, frustrated. At least those are all the things that I am feeling now. I called up my loan, the company that I'm doing my loans with, and tried to get into a different repayment program that would make me eligible for Biden's new programs, and I was told that I could get into one now, and then if I make on-time payments for 20 years, whatever isn't paid off in 20 years, they would cover. But I've already been paying loans for 20 years, and I've already paid more than what the original, loan ever was. Like, what the fuck? Everything's a fucking scam. The government don't give a fuck about us. It's the same with the IRS. If you owe the IRS, that compound interest is just working against you. Same thing with loans. Like, everything benefits the government so that the government keeps making money off you. But who gives a fuck about us, about people? And I am someone who is educated. I'm someone with resources. I'm someone who can at least afford to navigate this despite how frustrating it is. But I see how this impacts my mental health. And I'm thinking about people who have less, who have little, who do not have internal resources and do not have external resources, and how fucking frustrating this must be for them, and why people are so depressed and so anxious and feeling like they're in a rat race or on a hamster wheel, not being able to ever get ahead. And so this message is just to say that if you're one of those people, I see you, and wondering if anyone out there can validate this shit for me. That's all. Or maybe it's just a rant. Happy Monday.
In honor of me graduating college this week, I was like, you know what? We're going to rip the Band-Aid off. We're going to check our student loan debt. And I kind of had a ballpark range. Like, I knew how much I owed, not down to like the exact dollar amount. I'm the type of person who gets nervous to check their bank account after a weekend out. So I took a look. I took a hard gander at exactly how much money I owe. I'm going to die with it. Like, I can confidently say there wasn't even like a panic. It was just like my heart sank to my ass. I'm going to die with it. Like, I don't know any way I'm going to be able to pay that off other than selling my organs on the black market. This is why I don't understand why people shit on sugar babies, because like I could get this all paid off tomorrow. Maybe not tomorrow, but you know what I mean, like within the year. If I just found a rich man and everyone's like, patriarchy, don't work for them. Ask not what you can do for the patriarchy, but what the patriarchy can do for you. If it benefits me, then maybe it's not the patriarchy, maybe it's just a helping hand.
I just saw someone post that they have the same amount of student loan debt that I do, and they're crying in every video. It's like a compilation of them working their ass off and crying out of exhaustion and defeat. So I have two options here. Well, technically three. 1, work 3 jobs. 2, take myself out. 3, sugar baby, sprinkle, sprinkle. I don't know about you, but only one of those really sounds fun. 1.5. Also, every person I know that has told me not to do sugaring, their parents paid for their college. I will no longer be taking advice from people whose parents paid for their college. Shut up.
Where are all my Gen Z / millennial cusp individuals who were pushed in high school to go to college. With like everything you did had to do with going to college. That's all my parents focused on, because no one in my family had gone to college whatsoever, right? And now, as an adult, you are paying the price for the horrendous student loans that you have, right? So flashback to me at 17. My parents said, if you go to school in state, we'll help you pay for it. So what did I do? 17-year-old me, defiant me. I only applied to schools that were on the complete opposite coast. So I was living in Oregon, and I only applied to schools in like New York and Connecticut. Why? Because how dare you try to control where I go to school? After literally pushing me towards school for 6 years, right? Because it started in 7th grade and went all the way until I graduated. And mind you, it paid off. I got scholarships. However, the scholarship only paid for about 33% of my undergraduate degree. And since I moved 3,000 miles away from home, I had to live on campus. And I had absolutely zero financial awareness whatsoever. I had no college fund. I wasn't allowed to work when I was in high school. I had no idea what bills were or how they functioned or anything. Flash to the fact that after I get to school is when the school decides, hey, we're gonna go ahead and process your financial aid and see how much you owe and figure out how you're going to pay for it. So because my parents made too much money, and of course at that age you have to go off of their income, right? You have to use their income on the FAFSA. I didn't qualify for any Pell, any grants whatsoever. And I didn't even qualify for the Stafford loan either. Like, I had to go off of my parents' income, and they weren't helping me with school, but the government doesn't care. And so at barely 18 years old, I was already in New York. I was already on campus. I had already attended my first classes. They're like, well, the only way you can pay for this is if you take out a private student loan. Mind you, this is 2005. Okay? So, okay. I couldn't apply for it on my own because I had no credit. So I had to get a cosigner, and my parents did cosign my loan. So that allowed me to continue, right? Well, of course, it was Sally Mae that serviced these loans, and I attended school, and I went through that process, and then I graduate in 2009 with my bachelor's degree. Fantastic, right? Those that don't know, 2008, a huge recession hit. 2009, there was no jobs. It didn't matter that I had a bachelor's degree. It didn't matter how much education I had. You weren't getting a job. I worked for minimum wage here and there. Like, it was a horrible time to graduate. Not only that, but the government had no caps, no control, no limitations on these student loan companies. So after all of that, I couldn't get a job whatsoever. I went back to school because guess what? I can't afford to make the payments on these student loans. And so in-school deferment was the only option I had. And since I couldn't get a job with a bachelor's degree, maybe a master's degree would work for me. Right? Well, Sally Mae is like, you reached the limit of how long you can defer your student loan, so you need to start making payments. So there I go. I start making payments. And I saw that the amount that I had borrowed was around $32,000. That's the total amount I borrowed from Sally Mae. To date, I have paid back nearly $40,000. Now ask me why I still owe $50,000. So right now, that puts it at $90,000 for a $32,000 loan, right? And it's only going to increase because the interest rate is not fixed. It's a variable interest rate, so it can increase and decrease. And let me tell you what, it has 100% increased. When my payments first started, I was paying like $222 a month, and I'm up to $555 a month. And the balance doesn't go down, it actually increases. Like, it doesn't go down at all. It doesn't matter what I do, the balance doesn't go down. So something needs to happen, because I don't really know what to do. I already work 2 jobs. I already try to save as much money as possible. I already make my payments. I have been making my payments for, like almost 10 years now. I have paid back what I borrowed and then an additional $8,000. And whenever you bring up student loans, people just complain, well, you borrowed the money, you need to pay it back. I have paid it back. I am paying it back. I'm not arguing that I shouldn't pay it back. The problem is that these companies have been able to essentially just take advantage of young people for so long without any ramifications. And now there's even lawsuits that are up and lawsuits that are happening that, you know, hopefully something does change. And everyone will be like, well, why don't you refinance it? If I refinance it and one of these lawsuits does happen, I won't be a part of that lawsuit because I refinanced my loan, so I have to keep it where it is. Plus, when you have such a high debt to income ratio, places don't want to refinance you anyways, right? So it's like a lose-lose situation. So is there anyone else who has Sallie Mae or Navient loans from 2005 to 2009 that is struggling the same way that I am? Because sometimes I just feel like I'm so alone in this.
Y'all got specifically with Navient. Come here. Because do y'all get calls like multiple times a day from them if you're late on a payment, even after you set up a payment plan? Because the way that Navient calls, bro, like, I'm not gonna have it tomorrow. They really call you multiple times a day. Like, I'm gonna go to the ATM and be like, oh shoot, Navient called, let me get this money. Like, hold on for a second. Like, they call you 2 and 3 times a day. Days and days and days in a row, like, and then if you, like, try to block one number, they calling you from another. And then on top of it, like, y'all got real slick because you started using our area code at home. The 443, the 202, the 667. Like, y'all really started making it seem like it's people calling us from here, and then it's y'all trying to get the money. Then when we get on the phone with y'all, they're like, so how do you want to pay? I can't. That's why I wasn't answering the phone. No, like, I just need to know that anybody else, have y'all gone through this? Because Navient is, I can't wait until I'm done.
I have nothing to say, but, like, we are fucked. Like, truly fucked as a generation. In this economy, I swear I'll never pay back my student loans. Never. $100,000, who? You think I got that? I got car payments. I got rent. Actually, I'm moving home now. Newsflash, everybody. Talk all you want. I gotta move home. I can't afford it. I gotta figure something out. I'm gonna have to get a second job. Why the fuck? Why did I go to college? I thought the whole point of college was go to college, do your internships, get a job, become successful, get married, become a housewife. I gotta pay back my student loans? Well, I knew that was coming, but don't go to college unless your parents have bushels and bushels of money and will pay for it for you, or you're guaranteed a great job. Sorry, that's a lie. Go to college, get education, have fun in college, live your life, but just be prepared. It's gonna be expensive to pay back. Also, why is college that expensive? Granted, I could have gone to a state school. I very well could have. My parents told me, go to state school. It'll be basically free. It'll only be like, what, $4,000 a year. You can pay it off, blah, blah, blah. I didn't listen. That's all on me. They're right. Sorry, Shelly, you were right on this one. But I didn't want to go to school with everyone that I went to high school with. I didn't want to see all of Long Island upstate. I didn't want to do it. If you did do it, good for you. I'm proud of you. You saved money. I didn't. Now I got car payments. I had rent. I got student loans. I gotta live my life. What am I supposed to do? You want me to sit inside every night? I tried doing that while I had rent. I tried sitting inside and I just got depressed. Straight up depressed. Why was I paying rent to sit inside? Let me know. Also, why, like, if you have a master's degree, I'm sorry, you should be, like, legally obligated to pay me more. Not to be rude, but I paid some extra money to get that piece of paper. I think I'm qualified for a little more money. I need to figure something out. I'm gonna have to go back to waitressing, make that extra money. My Venmo's open if you wanna help a girl out, pay off her student loans and her car, because, have to move my car back, gotta change my plates, and if you have a lease, just know it's a process. If your mom and dad bought you a car, kiss the ground they walk on, because mine didn't. I'm not mad at them for it. I'm a little mad. Taught me great lessons. But if you have a shopping addiction, I've been a lot better about shopping. If you have a shopping addiction, don't get yourself a car. I wanted a car with a moonroof. I screwed myself there. I should have kept my other car. It was only like $200 a month. The moonroof was a little extra. In all seriousness, though, just remember your student loans when it comes time to vote this year. That's all I'm going to say. I think student loans are absolutely insane. So first you're telling me the government won't give me financial aid. Then you're telling me that you won't forgive my student loans. But I guess I'm the one that messed up, because I went to a private college, took almost $100,000 out in loans to be able to afford to go there. Ended up studying criminal justice just to become a cop in New York, and then moved out of New York and don't even do anything related to my degree. So if I don't want to be in debt for the rest of my life, I either need to go viral and work with some big brands, or go back to the spicy site. Both seemingly good options.